Brothers and sisters, welcome to the Christian Renewal Center. My name is Kim Brown, and I'm the director of the CRC. It is our great privilege that you have chosen to use the Christian Renewal Center as your retreat site. The CRC has been serving the area since 1968. Our mission is to draw people into a relationship with Jesus Christ and His church. We do this through retreat ministry, and you are part of that ministry. Our staff is here to take care of you during this retreat weekend, and we want to make sure that you are as familiar as possible with all the things that we have to offer, as well as some of the policies. These policies are put in place for all retreats to make sure that everybody is able to come and enjoy the holy ground. So as we go over these rules and protocols, if you have any questions, please let us know. But please make sure that you, as well as all your retreat staff, take the time to watch this video to become familiar. God bless. The Christian Renewal Center in 2019 hosted over 100 different retreats and events with over 7,000 people in attendance. Each of the retreats was unique to the people that were hosting it, as well as to the people that were attending it. The Christian Renewal Center hosts events and retreats for youth, adults, and families. Often, the Christian Renewal Center is able to accommodate more than one group at a time at the retreat center. We have 4 separate conference venues: Eugene Hall, Oblate Hall, Marion Hall, and the newly renovated Alley Center. In addition, we have 2 different types of accommodations, the rooms and the lodges. We also have outdoor recreation areas such as the sports pavilion, the swimming pool, as well as the waterfront property on the bayou. We also have large areas, grassy areas where you can sit to reflect or you could play. We also have our newly added Gaga pits here at the Christian Renewal Center for sports and recreation. We also have outdoor prayer space. This includes the Stations of the Cross Trail, the Rosary Walk, and the newly added Fishes and Loaves. In addition to our outdoor prayer space, we also have 2 Roman Catholic consecrated chapels. So let's get down to the basics so you're prepared for your retreat. Each retreat should identify one person that's the Golden Plunger. This is the point of contact between your retreat and the CRC staff. It is important that the Golden Plunger have the Golden Plunger flip chart, as this answers many of the frequently asked questions. It is also important that the Golden Plunger always checks on a reported issue themselves before calling the CRC staff. Many issues are easy to resolve, and this flip chart that we give the Golden Plunger will help. During your stay at the Christian Renewal Center, most likely another retreat is taking place. We often will have dual retreats on site. We ask that you please respect other retreats on site by being mindful of your noise, be mindful of your space, and be mindful of the time. It's important that when you are in a shared space, such as the chapel or the cafeteria, for prayer time or for meals, that you start and you end on time, as you running over or coming in early could impact another group and their schedule and their retreat. Quiet hours at the Christian Renewal Center are from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. No outside noise is allowed, as well as no amplifiers are allowed outside of the buildings of the Christian Renewal Center at any time. For signage, we ask your group to only use the clips or to hang things with painter's tape. When groups have not used painter tapes and they've used another type of tape or adhesive, this has caused permanent damage to the building, and ultimately the group has to pay a fee to get that fixed. For golf carts, please be mindful to only use with guests that have mobility issues and to stay on the sidewalks. Please do not drive on our grass, as this damages our grounds. If there's an incident with your group, please notify the CRC on-call staff as soon as possible and be sure to complete an incident report. Group leaders, it's important that you are up to date with the current addendums that have been agreed upon. In the Golden Plunger flip chart, you're going to find many things that can be helpful. One of the things we find often is air conditioning and heating, the HVAC systems. Often, people need to make sure that they're using the heating and air conditioning system correctly. Please make sure that the AC units are turned to auto instead of on. This is something that we're able to do to save on money and to conserve electricity. Also, if your group turns their air conditioning unit too low and it freezes up, the only way for that to be corrected is for it to unfreeze, which takes time, which means during all that time of waiting for something to unfreeze, well, friends, I hate to tell you this, but the AC will not be working. So be very mindful on that and make sure to look at the flip chart on the Golden Plunger. For checkout, we have information on the back of all the room doors, as well as the Golden Plunger is responsible for checking every single room to make sure that all items are removed, that the air conditioning and heating units is set to the correct temperature, that the doors and the windows are locked, as well as that all keys are returned and trash is pulled out. Please make sure to do this and make sure the group leader uses this. the groups are to bring their trash to the dumpster. So please be mindful that if you have your group has recycled the aluminum cans or plastic bottles, please put those behind the dumpster so that we are able to recycle them. In your meeting hall, your group had a choice when they were booking their event if they wanted to have coffee provided by the CRC staff. If that's the case, there will be supplies for your group to make coffee during your retreat. If you've chosen not to do this, then you would be bringing your own drinks or your own supplies. In the halls, it's very important that you follow what the policies are for any fire or smoke detectors. There are certain areas that have been identified on the CRC grounds that are removed from the central part of the property for smoking. In addition, we ask that you do not tamper with a smoke detector, and if a fire is visible, please first call 911 and then as safely as possible get everyone out of the area. Bonfires, tiki torches, and candles are covered in the Golden Plunger chart, as well as they're covered in the addendums. All bonfires must be done by 10 p.m. and they have to be attended by the CRC staff. Tiki torches must be 8 feet away from buildings and 4 feet away from awnings. When lit, someone must be watching the entire time. And candles are not allowed inside any of the buildings with the exception of the candles for Mass in the chapels. Outdoor candles must be 4 feet away from buildings and awnings. It's very important that you help us to preserve the Christian Renewal Center for future generations by being mindful of the use of fire. In the Christian Renewal Center, we have added a gift shop in the cafeteria foyer. This is a self-checkout process. People can pay by cash or check by dropping their money in the box they're located at the gift shop, or they can pay by credit card by going online and making their payment. All prices in the gift shop already include sales tax for your convenience. We ask that you make sure that you're familiar with our CRC chapels and that you make sure that you're only using the chapel during your group's reserved time. It's important that you follow the rules that have been established for the altar, as this is a consecrated sacred space. Please respect other groups' time for prayer by starting and ending on time. Furniture in the chapel should not be moved. The altar, ambo, and presider's chair should never be moved. And it's important for you to remember that the altar area is not a stage. The altar area has been reserved, the chancel, for something sacred, for something important, for the liturgy, for Jesus Christ himself. Incense should not be used inside of the meditation chapel, and it can only be used with ahead of time notice in the main chapel. Chapels are consecrated sacred spaces and should be used for Mass, reconciliation, exposition, and adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, liturgy of the hours, community prayer such as Rosary, Stations of the Cross, Divine Mercy, and private prayer. All other activities such as skits, even if you're doing a Stations of the Cross skit, should be done outside or in the conference meeting space. Please do not use our chapels as multi-purpose spaces. Please make sure to return all items to the sacristy from the place that you took them. Groups need to bring their own wine as well as bread. Please only enter the chapel during your allotted time. Let's talk food. The Christian Renewal Center has meal service provided if your group has scheduled this ahead of time. We ask that once again you be on time for meals, and it's important that you arrive as a group. The Christian Renewal Center has multiple options available when it comes to meals. These are options that need to be made and planned in advance. We're able to serve cafeteria style in the cafeteria. We're able to box your meals individually for your hall, or we can give you your food buffet style that you're able to serve from your hall. The Christian Renewal Center has set meal times that allow us to be able to accommodate all of our groups on site. So once again, it's important that you arrive on time and you arrive as a group. Ahead of time, you should have already submitted your special dietary needs for the people in your group. The CRC is trying to meet the needs of as many people as possible while also being budget and cost conscious. We are able to accommodate people that are vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, diabetic, and non-dairy. The CRC is a latex-free kitchen as well as a nut-free kitchen. So we ask that as you come through the Christian Renewal Center, if you have marked down that you are a person with one of those special dietary needs, the staff will already have a meal that is set aside and pre-ready for you. So we ask that you make sure to identify yourself as a vegetarian, as a gluten-free, so that we're able to give the right meals to the right people. In addition to our meals at the Christian Renewal Center, we also have the opportunity for you as your group in each of the halls. There is a counter that you're able to utilize for your snacks or your own preparation, as well as we have a refrigerator and microwave located in each of the meeting halls. If somebody has to bring their own meals for dietary restriction needs, they are able to use those refrigerators in their meeting hall. At the same time, some groups will choose to rent the lodge kitchen, which allows them to prepare their own meals. In addition, the Christian Renewal Center does offer Wi-Fi. Now, why do we offer Wi-Fi? The Christian Renewal Center is designed as a chance for people to disconnect from the world so that they can connect to God. Our rooms are not designed to get Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is made available in the meeting space for the presenters for your retreat. It's not designed for people to be surfing or streaming videos. The CRC does not have enough bandwidth for everyone on the retreat to have access to the Wi-Fi code, and so we ask that you only give the Wi-Fi code to the people that are running the retreat that have need of it for the retreat purposes. If somebody's just needing to log in for their internet, we ask that your group only give them the guest Wi-Fi password so that they're not streaming videos and pulling from bandwidth from other presenters that might be needing that information. In the Golden Plunger flip chart, we talk about plumbing and electrical. It's important that if a toilet is clogged, that first you try to unclog the toilet before calling the CRC staff. Plungers are located in the restrooms of your meeting hall, as well as plungers are located in each of the lodges. There's actually instructions on how to plunge in case you have a question. It's important with electrical. Sometimes groups will bring a lot of equipment trying to plug it all into one source. It's important to remember that we only use extension cords and electrical outlets that have built-in surge protectors. This will protect your equipment as well as avoid overloading an electrical outlet and causing a breaker to turn off. If an electrical outlet or light is not working, please check the nearest breaker. In the rooms, these are located in the pods courtyards. They're located in the lodges. They're located in the meeting halls, as well as are located in the chapel. Please identify the breaker that is off. Turn the breaker switch totally off and then return it to on. If the breaker turns off again, the electrical breaker outlet connected to that is overloaded. That means too many extra devices such as blow dryers. Remember that we're a retreat house that was built in the 1960s and we were designed for simplicity. We weren't designed for the 21st century electrical needs of all the technology. So be mindful of that when you're using something. As far as safety and medical goes, it's important that you in your retreat be very mindful of the surroundings and what's going on. We do have poison ivy, oak, and summit, and so we want to encourage you to stay on the trails. When you go off hiking into the woods and you go off the trails, you do run a chance of running into one of those poisonous plants. The Christian Renewal Center is also 52 wonderful wilderness acres, and those wonderful wilderness acres can also have the potential for snakes. So be mindful as you're walking around. If you see a snake, please just avoid that snake. We have a CPR and AED machine located in the cafeteria foyer. If someone ends up going down and they're not breathing or their heart stops pumping, please begin CPR with 30 chest compressions and 2 breaths, making sure to have someone call 911 to get emergency help as soon as possible. For any minor injuries, your group should have brought a first aid kit. If you're needing ice, please check with the cafeteria staff where you're able to get some ice. In the event of a serious injury or emergency, please call 911 first and then be sure to notify the CRC staff of the issue. We thank you for choosing the Christian Renewal Center, and we thank you for your help in helping us to keep this holy ground for future generations. By making sure to turn off the lights, to close doors, you're helping to conserve energy and being a good steward of the resources God has entrusted to our care. Upon the end of your retreat, we ask that you make sure that all keys are turned in following the checkout procedures, as well as asking the people in your group to complete an evaluation. This evaluation helps us to continue to make improvements at the Christian Renewal Center. If for some reason something did not work during your retreat and you did not notify the on-call staff about the issue, please make sure to mark that down as well as the location so that we can repair that before the next group. We want to thank you, friends, for taking the time to watch this video as well as to review the Golden Plunger chart. We also want to thank you for choosing the Christian Renewal Center for your retreat. We know that you have options, and we are grateful that you have chosen us. The Christian Renewal Center has been serving the population since 1968. That's over 50 years. And at the Christian Renewal Center, we are owned by the Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston, but we are 100% financially independent. We are managed and financed by the laity. The only form of income that we have is through retreats donations, and grants. If you have been inspired by your stay at the Christian Renewal Center, if the Christian Renewal Center has been a place where you've had a chance to encounter God, and you want to ensure that future generations have a chance to come to the CRC to encounter God, then I want to invite you to become a donor of the Christian Renewal Center. You can become a donor by donating one time, or you can become a monthly donor. All donations make a difference at the Christian Renewal Center, and I give you my word that as the director of the CRC, we will do everything to be the best steward of the financial resources you entrust to our care. Once again, thank you for choosing the Christian Renewal Center, and have a wonderful day and a blessed retreat. God bless.